Hi, I'm Avalon Starlight, and you are listening to the Rebel Unicorns podcast. This season, I'm super stoked because we are talking about something very near and dear to my heart, chakras, and how they can completely transform your life and your business. Listen each week as I share my own chakra experiences, as well as introducing you to incredible guests with their own chakra stories. Are you ready? Let's get our Rebel on. Okay, Rebel Unicorns, we are nearing the end of the energy funnel. We've got 2 more chakras to dive deep into. And I would say that this week is one that a lot of people like to focus on. Well, yeah. I mean, whether we're focusing on it with the intention of creating a business and a reality that lights us up, or we're focusing on it and letting it go down a rabbit hole of illusion, creating really things that we don't want in our life and our business. Because interestingly enough, the third eye can only go in one of 2 directions. I've recently started reading Pam Grout's new book. She put out a book. I've been a student and a teacher of A Course in Miracles for probably 5 or 6 years now, having read through the entire text with a group last year. And Pam Grout has this wonderful book, and it's the daily lessons from A Course in Miracles, but they're made to be like real life. Because if you've ever read A Course in Miracles, you know that the text is very biblical and it's very intense, and you know you're really sifting through all this prose to find the nugget of what the meaning is behind it. And so I was reading this book this morning and doing day 16 of, the daily practices through Pam Grout's eyes. And it was just impactful. It's not like I remember the daily lesson all day, every day, but this one was significant. And I think it ties in with what we're going to be talking about in the third eye. And she said, you are either, your thoughts are either meaningless or they're creating your reality. Think about that for a second. Your thoughts are either meaningless or they're creating your reality. And there's a real significance to the meaningless, because the reason it's meaningless is oftentimes we're making shit up. Like, let's call it what it is. We're making shit up. We're thinking about how someone else is feeling without asking them how they're feeling. We're making these feelings up for them. We're giving them the feeling, really. And then we're allowing that feeling or that interpretation of what we assume is happening to influence how we respond to our own reality, how we take action, how we don't take action, how we feel about ourselves, how we feel about the other person. Meanwhile, none of this has actually transpired. The same thing is true for, when you decide you want to create something or put your own self out into the world as an entrepreneur or a business owner or an author, and make an impact in your service in any way. And you start to create an idea of what will happen. Like, oh my goodness, I can't put this post off. Somebody's going to say something, or somebody's going to see it. And if they see it, then, oh my gosh, they're going to tell other people. And you create this domino effect of if I place this up, 17,000 million things are going to happen. Now, of course, you haven't put the thing up, so we don't actually have any data or information to tell us exactly what's going to happen once it's up. But you've now created a false story, a fake story, something that doesn't exist in reality, and you've attached it to as actually has happened. And of course, it's all meaningless. Right? Another thing I was reading in A Course in Miracle text in this particular book was if you are thinking about the past or you're thinking about the future, you're thinking about nothing. Oh my God. I was like, damn, that's good. Right? Because if you're thinking about the past and you're thinking about the future, you're not in the present moment, and only reality exists in the present moment. Because if you're behind the moment or you're ahead of the moment, then you're not here. You're not here. That's a little sacral, right? Behind the moment, ahead of the moment, present moment. If you remember that from, sacral week, you can go back and listen to that episode again. So there's this really powerful understanding in your thoughts that your thoughts are here to create. They're here to create. They're here to take, what is not in form yet. It runs through your third eye. So as the divine download is coming, We are thinking about it, and it's the thinking about it that creates it into some form in our current reality. And so we have this really powerful understanding in third eye that there are 3 ways that we can significantly get our third eye into alignment. And why these are so impactful and important is because they all have to do with trust. Now, trusting means that you do not have to constantly be in control and thinking, because you're trusting in other factors to be happening with you so that you don't always have to be micromanaging in the level of your thought. So the 3 levels of trust that are so imperative in your third eye is trusting yourself, trusting spirit, and trusting others. Because if you're not giving your energy to the trust of these 3 things, then you're out of alignment. We believe fully that spirit has got us, then we don't have to fear that things are going to go wrong, right? Seriously, if you knew that the divine was supporting you in all ways, and no matter what was coming to you, whether it felt joyful or it came with deep grief, that at some level, this in the law of polarity states is that same beautiful gift, right? Because we have this understanding that transformation, in order for us to receive more, to grow more, to have more, to be more, a contrast has to happen that allows us to understand the true nature of whether we have to do more work in order to allow ourselves to feel worthy and deserving of that. If it's something that is even sometimes getting great accolades and compliments and, being featured in a magazine or on TV will create that same tension as if something, negative happened. You'll still feel that overwhelming discomfort of, oh my goodness, I can't believe this is happening to me, and go into the same default setting of, how do I allow myself to have this? Is this worthy? Am I like okay to receive this? So it's interesting to kind of witness that same reaction can come from something really impactful or something that you've been striving for having been achieved and realized, but it can also come from a loss of relationship, loss of loved one, loss of identity in some form or some way. And yet we can still get to that same core response of oh my goodness, I require to do a little deep dive here and sift through why I'm uncomfortable in these situations. And so this is why we get to that place of full trust in the divine, knowing that whatever is happening in our external world is of our highest good, that the divine is sitting looking over like bird's eye view going, yep, this is what we need to bring down on this person to support their growth and expansion so that they can make an even bigger impact in the world. So let's drop it like it's hot. And when you trust that, when you trust it and you know that, everything is happening for your highest good, then you receive the information differently. You take action through the information differently. You allow yourself to just be in it. I recently went through a deep grief, last month actually, and I'd never touched grief in a different form. And I'm saying it was different because I built such a strong relationship to the grief. I didn't try and push it away. I actually wanted to feel it fully in every nuance of it. I wanted to and when I close my eyes, I can still feel that grief tangibly because I experienced it fully. And I was so grateful for the divine bringing me that grief, because that grief has actually allowed me to feel more joy. I've laughed more since that grief. I have allowed myself to play more since that grief. And so I feel the truth of that requirement in my expansion and my growth. So this is why we trust the divine, is because we know now that we don't have to say this is happening against me, or this is something I need to blame, or this is something that is an attack, because there is no such thing. And that's freedom right there. And we trust ourselves. We trust ourselves. And this one is significant because it's really getting to a place of doing what you say you're going to do. When I first started writing My Kid is Driving Me Crazy in 2017, I was hung up on this Danielle Laporte fire starter video from YouTube. And one of the things that she impressed in the fire starter video was do what you say you're going to do. Do what you say you're going to do. Do what you say you're going to do. And I remember receiving that information and going oh my God. In that moment, it hit me so strongly that I wasn't following through what I was saying to myself, oh, you're going to work out today, or you're going to do this thing. And I would not do it. And immediately, you guys, when you say you're going to do something for yourself or somebody else and you don't do it, you have now given your ego and your subconscious mind, what's the word? Artillery to use against you. Remember when you didn't do that? You don't follow through. You don't finish what you say you're going to do. You don't complete things. And that was my old self. I used to believe about myself that I never finished anything I started. What? What? That was something I carried about myself as a belief. So when I started to do what I say I was going to do, and I started to build this trust with myself, then I knew that anything that I wanted to accomplish or achieve, of course I could do it. And we begin really small when we're thinking about trusting ourselves. It could be that, I'm going to make an appointment for the hairdresser. I'm going to make a therapy appointment. I'm going to go for a walk. I'm going to walk the dog tomorrow. And it can be, you can write small things, just easy little tasks. I'm going to cook myself dinner as opposed to going out. Whatever it is that begins to forge this relationship with you, for you, through you, that says, I am someone who takes action for myself, that I trust myself fully, that if I say I'm going to do this one thing, I now have enough proof and validation that says, oh my God, of course I do. Of course I do. And then this leads into taking in even more larger things that you know that you'll do. If you say you're going to write a book, you'll complete the book. If you say you're going to launch a podcast, you'll launch the podcast, because you believe so fully in yourself. You trust yourself so fully that it doesn't even faze you. If you say you're going to do it, you're going to do it. And it's so worth it, you guys. It feels so good energetically to know that about yourself. It's today I was I'm going to record 4 episodes of this podcast. And now I'm I'm just going to do the 5th as well today, because I want to complete this fully. I want to be able to close the circle on this podcast and give you guys the most intimate and beautiful experience as you're listening to this. And that is trusting myself, saying I'm going to do it today, and then sitting here and going for a walk, coming back, recording a couple episodes, doing whatever. But they'll get done today because I said I was going to do it. And that's the trusting of yourself. And then the one which trips up people quite a bit is the trusting of others. I believe, as a witch up in here, sometimes I get a little bit hard on men, if I'm being honest. Sorry, men listeners, because I don't have the great past life history that says that you guys won't hurt me. And I mean, I'm healing. I did do a whole year of sacral work so that I could be in a space to be around the opposite sex and feel fully embedded in what they're saying and what they're doing, and just have this divine trust. And there have been some divine men that have come into my life to help really anchor that trust in others into my being and my body. And I'm so grateful for the wise sage men that have been, placed in my path through spirit work, right? These are all very spiritual men. They're men who are awakened men and who are sovereign men. And these men have helped me fully allow myself to trust others. And then this trust is also, you place it into those in your community and in your life. And going back to root chakra, if you are fuck, no, I can't trust these people in my life, then get out of that situation. Get yourself out. Environment is everything. And this is how our chakras collide with each other. And they're so important that we're aware of how one influences another. Because if you're in relationships with people in your life who are not trustworthy, and then you're trying to get your third eye up, in alignment, and you can't open yourself to trust others, then, that's those critical conversations that we have in order to get ourselves to a space where we don't have to be in protection. We don't have to be, afraid. We don't have to, stay in situations and tolerate that which isn't our highest good. Because if you're in danger or you're not in a healthy place, then it's you who has to make that significant decision and choice. And I'm not saying that it's an easy choice. I'm saying that it will impact all your energy floors. It will impact how you're able to step into the service that you chose to come to this earth, and understand that, there's impact that you can make even from making that decision. How many people will be affected positively with your strength, through your strength. And so when we're getting even deeper into that trusting others, then there's this willingness to soften, the safety to soften, and allow Spirit to guide you into these relationships and opportunities so that you have a container that you can be protected in and that you can do deep work in. Oh my goodness. I remember hiring my first real one-on-one coach, and I'm still working with her, and the messes I have made with myself in the protection, knowing she could hold that strong container for me. And the depth I've been able to do my work, knowing that she could hold that container for me. And so there's power in trusting others for your own divinity, for your own capacity to have a safe space for your work. Oh, and then that doesn't even include trusting others that are being guided to you in, collaborations, in, activations and amplifying your message. Like, you're gonna make mistakes in your decisions to work with people. I have joined programs that have felt aligned, and when I get into them, aren't aligned. And that's beautiful because it's still, I trust the other for the lesson I was there for. There's no blame in it. It's simply, I received the value of what I knew that my energetic growth was meant to be invested in. And always, I can promise you, the intention I go in with for something, I receive. That's never, ever not been a true statement. Even if I remember joining a PR program, and I was learning how to be a PR person for myself, really, learning how to reach out and do that level of service for myself to get myself seen and heard. And I didn't enjoy it. Loved the people, loved everything, but I'm I'm so glad I spent this money to know I will never, ever do this for myself, right? That was worth the cost of entrance to know that I will never spend that. That's not how I will spend my time. And that's helped me build a proper team, right? Which is also trusting others, is having a team that you know that you can rely upon and that you can be supported in. And if you need time off, that they're available to pick that up for you. So, when you're in a place of full trust of the divine, you're in a full place of trusting yourself, you're trusting others. Oh, take a breath. Take a deep breath here. When I am in trust, then I know that everything's going to be okay, that nothing bad's going to happen, and all my needs are met. And I can feel you questioning, nothing bad can happen. There's always going to be external situations that are not going to be ideal. They're not going to be what you desire. They're not going to be what you want. There's going to be people hurt. There's going to be, injustice in this world. And I am not here to tell you that these things aren't real or that they don't exist. I'm here to say that you individually are going to be okay in this situation. Because when we do the work on ourselves, we're creating a vibrational frequency of authenticity, of, for those who are listening, who are here to be those frontline people going out into the world to really impact, the level of racism and misogyny and patriarchal dissent and so many huge things. There's a trust in knowing that you are safe and protected in these experiences. We're not pretending experiences don't exist. So we know and trust that everything's going to be okay. Because we know we've been placed into these roles for purpose and meaning. And we are fulfilling our prophesized stance and, why we are here. And I thank God for the people who stand in their power in doing this. Mine's different, and I celebrate mine. And so there's that trust again, trust of oneself, trusting in you, knowing what you are here to be in the service of fully. So third eye, again, you are either in the creation of the reality that you really desire through focusing on receiving it as if it's already there, seeing it as if it's already there. Because when you're in trust, in your vortex, little Abraham Hicks, that your vortex is already bringing you these things. If you desire something, and maybe I'll save this part for Crown. No, I'm being told to save this part for Crown. So, this is like a, what is it called? Cliffhanger. We're leaving a cliffhanger on third eye because I really wanted to go into it right there. And you're going to have to roll back around to get to the Crown Week, which is, it's a great week. It's so good. This week, my interview is with Neil Flora, which I adore. I'm like, you're my only male-bodied man in this season of the Rebel Unicorn podcast. And oh my goodness, we get quantum in a big way. So it's totally fun to listen to this kind of expanded version of third eye. Where can you take your third eye when it's fully open to the divine? And we get to talk about how the separation of the third eye to the heart and how that affected Neil. So it's a really great episode. And tune in for, the continuation of the receiving that we were just talking about in the Crown Chakra episode beginning next week. Wow, that episode was mind-blowing. I hope you had as many ahas listening to it as I had recording it. I would love to see the Rebel Unicorns podcast spread far and wide across the globe, across the universe. So if you want to share it on your social media with something that you found impactful, leave a review, send it to a friend. It would be so deeply appreciated. Also, a little side note, I did recently change my name. I downloaded a year and a half ago that my name was Avalon Starlight. It was previously my birth name was Tamara Arnold. And if you're interested in learning what your Rebel Unicorn house is, there's a quiz for that. Think Harry Potter, except you're sorted into how you are impacting the world with your Stardust and what energy you're here to shift and change. You can find out your Rebel Unicorn house at www.tamaraarnold.ca/quiz. Let me know, tag me in social media, send the quiz out, and join the Rebel Unicorns Facebook group to be in a community of like-minded spiritual entrepreneurs who understand that when you shift your energy, you transform your business.